Hi folks, welcome to Iris Cottage. I'm Suzanne Miner and this is my studio. This is just a quick little run through on how to assemble a build your own lanyard using a cord that either you made or you purchased from me and the little hardware kit that has the two ends, the clasp, and the hook to hang your ID or whatever you're going to be hanging from this lanyard. I picked this one because it's got some sparkle on it. And even though it looks like it might not fit through that little bitty hole, trust me, it will. Now, there's going to be a limit to how big of a cord you can use, but we can make this work. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to squish this end down, and I'm going to wrap it with just some regular old adhesive tape. And what I'm doing is making kind of a little end that I can get a hold of and push through that hole. And hopefully that's going to work just dandy. So I'm going to do this end first. This is the one that the piece goes into. I'm going to stick my tape through that hole, grab hold of my pliers, and pull it on through with kind of a twisting motion. Then I'm going to take that tape off, and you can see it's kind of expanded back around that hole. So I have to pull it back just a little bit because I can't have it sticking out on this end. And then I'm going to decide if I want to slide this on so it moves back and forth. I need to do that before I put the other end on. If I'm going to do a lark's head knot, which is what I'm going to do, I don't need to put this on just yet. But I do need to figure out how long I want my lanyard. So I've already figured out that I want it to be about 36 inches long. And I have a measuring tape here on the edge of my workbench. So you can see I'm going to have some cord left over, and that's just fine. So what I'm going to do is a quick little overhand knot and pull it tight. Then I'm going to take another piece of tape and wrap it around just below that knot. And again, this is for giving me a little bit of something to grab onto and pull it onto the end. So now I cut that off by the knot, and I have this to use for something else, which I will. So I'm going to add just a little more tape here. And then I'm going to feed that through the other end of the lanyard clasp. Sometimes easier said than done. Go ahead and grab it with your pliers. And again, we're going to do a little bit of a twisting motion. And then we'll pull that tape off. And you can see how the cord expands in there, which is fine. That's expected. So now I'm going to take some glue, just really any kind of craft glue, and I'm going to push some glue into there, and I'm going to kind of mush it around a little bit. And I can take, well, I'll just use my pliers and just kind of mash that down. On this end, it doesn't really matter if you fill up the little tube, because this is the one that is inserted into the other end. Now, these are breakaway lanyard clasps. It takes a little bit to break them, though. I've tested that a couple times. And if you want for a little extra security, you can put some glue right around out here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other end with my glue. Now this one I do need to make sure that I leave enough room for that other part of the clasp to come in. So I'm going to just mush it down. You know, mushing is a technical term. So mush it in there, and I need to let this dry before I put the other end into it, or it's not going to be the breakaway like it needs to be. Okay, so you can see I've mushed it down some. I may need to mush it a little bit more. If you don't feel like it's quite right, add a little bit more glue and give it a little bit more of a filling up of the tube here. Okay, now that's going to have to dry before I wear it, but I can go ahead and put the hook on, and I'm going to do a lark's head knot, which is just a really simple, comes out kind of looking like a square. I find the midpoint, I push it through, give that a little tug, then I feed these ends through there, and I pull it down, and you can adjust a little bit if you need to. Give it a good tug, and once that glue dries, I have a lanyard ready to wear. Have fun with it. Make one for every occasion. You know, you might as well wear sparkles. Some days you might want some different colors, but they're really easy to make and they're very handy. Enjoy.